This has been with Practical Junk, and today we're going to be talking about my feeders. I have a no waste feeder, which works really good, but I noticed some of my birds were wasting the food. But first, let me show you this, because people were saying that if you fill it, the holes you drill in it, the food will just come up out of it, and that's not true. Let me show you my feeders. These are my breeding birds. They do really good. And if you look on the ground, there's no food. You look on the ground over here, there's no food. And if you look in the feeder, let's see here, I can get my finger in there, about that far. Now, you look here, I've got drilled out the actual 45, so they could peck into the 45 and it keeps the food flowing. Now, every once in a while, I'll walk out here and this is filled completely up. They eat it down. Once it starts getting low, it'll refill itself. Very, very effective. Now, these guys, they're great. They're about a year old. They don't waste food. Now, my 6-month-old bird, say hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
That's my beautiful girl. She's going to be helping me. These guys, I mean, they're throwing food everywhere, you know? So what we did is about 2 weeks ago, they make a test cap, which is a thin piece of plastic. Come here, let me show you. I've actually already cut this one out, but this, I've cut this hole out. And you see I've left a little bit of a lip at the top. So what I'm doing today is the one that's in the feeder that I put in 2 weeks ago, I only left about half of it. So this is the other feeder. So what I'm doing is I'm training the birds to eat all the food. Come here, look down in here. You can see where the test cap right here, they have to peck at this opening to get it to feed better, which it is flowing good, but it only leaves a little bit at the bottom. As soon as I did this, no more waste on the ground. So I'm kind of training them a little bit. But right now what I need to do is I need to get this feeder empty. Now what I've done is I've just about got this side empty. So this will just pop right off here. And I'm gonna pour the rest of the food in here. And as you can see, it does feed still pretty good, even with the test cap in there. So look right down in that hole, you can see what it's doing. It's just cutting and restricting the flow. Now, what do we have here? This is the test cap. So I trimmed out about half of this one. This one, I just kind of lightly cut it out with a knife. Now what I'm doing is I'm gonna open it up just a little bit. This restricted it quite a bit. So I'm hoping if I trim this one down, it's gonna let just a little bit more food flow through, and it'll still keep it from wasting it. I probably could remove them, but I don't want it rushing in there. I want to kind of keep them in good habits, because just like any animal, they have habits. How they developed this habit, not really sure, but it happened. So what have I done here? I got a hole saw. And you can see here, I've already kind of got a pre-drilled hole. You got to be careful doing this. You need to hold this really, really snug. And I'm going to put the hole saw in here. And come here, I'm going to trim it up just a little bit. Now, if you're not careful, this will spin in your hands. So put some gloves on if you do not have very strong hands. Trust me, see my thumb right there, that line? That is from it getting loose on my finger, and it could have cut me open. So be very careful. I'm gonna trim this back right here. And it doesn't take much if you have a good sharp bit like this one. You know what I'm doing? I'm putting it right up against the edge and just kind of eyeballing it. Yep. That's pretty close to what I want. Just a little bit of restriction. I always have my Dremel, gonna get it smoothed out. take some of this out of it. So I don't want the birds to be pecking in here, catching any little sharp edges or anything, or picking off any plastic and eating it. And it doesn't take long. I got like I think that's a 60 grit pad on here. Those edges off. Then whatever's left, you can usually just grab your hands, just kind of pull it off there real quick. And if there's any left, I'll Dremel it off. I'm gonna round that off just a little bit more. Got just a little bit of a tip right here. I'm gonna take that off and I'll be happy with it. My bit came loose. Gotta have a blooper here and there. Usually get those bits on there pretty tight just by hand. Yeah, I got that a little bit more of a heart shape. I like that better. There we go. That actually cut everything pretty smooth. Pull off any little edges that rolled over with plastic. It kind of heats and rolls when you're trying to Dremel it off. That right there, that's a little bit bigger. It'll be fine though. Now getting a piece of wood and drilling a hole and doing that definitely keeps it a lot more stable versus trying to drill into something else. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take this test cap and I'm gonna put it in here just like this. I'm gonna leave this angle, the little piece up that I just replaced. And we're gonna take it and we are going to put this on here as straight as we can. You see what I just did? Might help to put the feeder end on it, huh? Now, actually put a couple of little bitty screws in here just to help hold these together when I'm picking them up. And it keeps everything lined up nicely. Now I'm gonna pull this other cap out. You can see the difference in the flow again before I finish it up. That's like a little bit less than half. Now I first did this, you know, when they were chicks, you know, maybe, you know, when I say chicks, 5 to 6 weeks old, when I put them on this feeder. That way it keeps them from not being so wasteful. And it seems they somehow developed some bad habits along the way because we didn't have this problem before. But now, right there is 2 different ways you can control the flow of your food. These things are like $1. I mean, you could probably use something else, but they're pretty durable. They work really well. Actually, my other pin back here, because the feeder is inside the box, I don't use these. I actually just set these in top, obviously new with no hole in it, but it keeps the bugs and stuff out of them. But right here it's a great way to control the flow of your feed. What I do like about this too is I've heard some people say if you put a big pipe on it to really fill the food up, you really want to do this right here, because I put a little bit bigger pipe in that other pen and it's filling it up higher because of the pressure. So if you have a tall coop and you want to put like a 5-foot stack of food with a feeder similar to this one, get one of these. Again, they're like $1. They call it a test cap. It's in plumbing, right back where these caps are and the 45s are. They'll be sitting right over in that same section. Check it out. I really hope this helps somebody if you're having an issue with the flow rate on your food, it's pouring out, or you just need to train your birds to stop being so messy. It's a great idea to use. Thank you guys for checking me out here, and I hope this helps somebody. And definitely like and subscribe to my channel. There's going to be more videos to come. Thank you and have a blessed day.